it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. And it's been a little while since I've made a kind of rah-rah clear aligner video. I've really been focusing more on airway and phase one interceptive and more interesting topics. I mean, I felt like I kind of had all the content on basic clear aligners done already, but surprise, I thought of something else. So let I have a lot of doctors that got real rah-rah about clear aligners, and some people just kind of peter out and they're like, oh, I'm done, I'm quitting Invisalign, or I'm quitting my clear aligners and my business, I'm just done, I'm just not enjoying it, it's just not profitable for me. I've been hearing that a lot lately, and these aren't necessarily people who've followed my techniques and my advice and stuff. A lot of times they're people who've worked with me but didn't do everything I recommended. I mean, the people who do everything I recommended generally do very well. But you kind of have to be all in, right? And you have to get your team all in as well. So let's talk about kind of the top three things that I think people forget is like the most important. If you had to focus on three reasons, three things you can do, three actionable items you can do to be successful, these would be kind of my top three for clear aligner success. Number one, you got to learn to diagnose, and you got to diagnose efficiently, and you have to screen everybody in your practice. Even you don't ask, would you like to have Invisalign? Can I do an Invisalign consult? No, you don't do that. You just integrate it and make it part of every single exam. Everyone that has teeth in your practice. If they're in dentures, then no, they don't get an ortho exam. And we don't call it an ortho exam because then you're going to have some people freak out. I'm my orthodontics. I didn't ask for that. We call it an occlusion or a malocclusion exam. I think occlusion exam is the right thing to do, or a functional occlusion exam, whatever you want to call it. Everyone gets an occlusion exam every 6 months, every year. I think every year is, I mean, I don't know. If you do it every year, it's like bite wings. Occasionally it gets skipped, right? Because it's not a billable thing. So sometimes it's better to do every 6 months, but just revisiting it every time they come in, just like you revisit an oral cancer screening, just like you revisit perio probing, just like you revisit x-rays. They know when they come in, sometimes they get different stuff. You're not always going to get all the things. You get what you're due for. So now you're due for your occlusion screening, or whatever you want to call it, bite screening. And that is where we look at the stability of your bite, long term too. And it's important to do this because we want your bite to last for a lifetime, and an unstable bite can cause loss of teeth and is significantly more painful and more expensive, than just fixing bite issues now and getting you in a set of retainers occasionally at night. So you're going to do it. You're just going to present the information. You're not going to talk necessarily, unless the patient is asking about aesthetics. I would keep it function, focus only on function. We're talking about attrition. We're talking about abfractions. We're talking about erosion. We're talking about, all the types of dental wear. We're talking about alignment. We're talking about perio. We're talking about, everything, that kind of stuff, the stuff that causes teeth to break down, loading forces, all that. Habits, oral habits, airway, things like that. Focus on that. And then once you've given those results, if they don't look interested, then, or, you can move on and say, well, some people, there's an added benefit. Usually there's an aesthetic benefit too. Would you like me to go over the aesthetic benefit for you if we do this? And they'll either say yes or they say no. And if they say no, then you don't have to go over that. Then the conversation's done. Now you're not salesy if you present it like that. This is the key. Now you're not salesy because you presented the dental health benefits only, and you asked their permission if they'd be interested to hearing, you can kind of joke around about it. Hey, FYI, some pretty cool aesthetic benefits do you want me to go over? And guess what? You should always, before you do this screening, before you have even had this conversation, you should already have checked the insurance to see if they have any benefits. You don't have to say they don't if they don't, but if they do, I would say added bonus, guess what? Surprise, you have X amount of benefits. So, and I'm personally super against doing coupons and stuff for ortho. I think that's the tackiest thing ever. Physicians don't do coupons. It just makes us, we're always saying, oh, I want to be doctors, I want to be treated like an oral physician. And then you do coupons and sales and flash sales. And no, I am okay with an Invisalign day, like having an Invisalign, like an open house kind of thing. It doesn't have to be called Invisalign. It can be like, it can just, I would honestly, I know Invisalign likes you to do Invisalign days. I think it's tacky. And I know I've made a lot of content on it, and they are efficient and effective, but I think when Invisalign first came out, and scanners first came out, that was cool. It's not cool anymore. So nobody cares. It's mundane. So I wouldn't focus on that. You could have, surely once a year you can have an open house. Oh, you know, my med spa did this, and they're a pretty intense med spa. Like they do a lot of procedures, a lot of surgical procedures and stuff, like basically outpatient surgery kind of stuff too. Like they do some cool stuff, and a lot of stuff that's almost dental facing too that we can do. So they're not like salesy coupony at all. Like there's never any sales, which I like it because it's all like physicians that work there and nurse practitioners and stuff. And they're very clinical, but they do extraordinary good work. So anyways, different. If you ever come to Hawaii and you want a good med spa, it's expensive though, but they don't screw up. And that's why I look so awesome. But anyways, just joking around. Off topic. So my med spa does this open house once a year, and they just show procedures. So they have a patient in each op, and they're showing different procedures. I mean, some of the stuff is involving injections and like all kind of crazy stuff, you know, thread lifts and major surgical procedures. And then you just can come in and yay, watch someone getting it. And obviously that person's getting it for free. Hey guys, there was a little interruption with the audio. Sorry about that. This is going to be the kind of part 2 of this clear aligner success video. So I was talking about having a, you know, like an open house to show procedures. That's definitely an idea, a nice not salesy way to sell. So anyways, you guys got the idea on that. So some of the other ways you could be more successful besides, you know, screening all your patients is make sure that you understand treatment plans. You can treatment plan effectively, that your treatment plans need to be so accurate. You can't just go with what the texts say. You can't just go with what the engine says. You can't just go with what the lecture says. Each treatment plan needs to be customized, and there is something to say. I mean, I don't know any general dentists who can treatment plan properly unless they've done like hundreds, if not thousands of cases properly. I mean, it takes time to do it right. So the first couple hundred are gonna be bad. I mean, that's the truth. There is no quick way to learn to do it. You have to work one-on-one with a good orthodontist. That's the truth. I mean, you can hit or miss just like we all did in residency. We hit or miss, we made mistakes, and then we learned stuff, you know? So if you don't mind burning a few bridges and having some upset patients and having a slow start, then do it yourself. But otherwise, there's a lot of orthodontists out there who are super happy to mentor you. And like I said, you can't get this from a class. So every patient is completely unique. So that's my suggestion. If you don't like my style, there's a lot of people I can refer you to who do it. And there's a lot of services, to be honest, they're not, I've seen their work. It's not good because they're all running through AI and stuff. I mean, AI just isn't there yet, you know, and having an orthodontist that's licensed in Costa Rica is not the same thing. And a one-on-one orthodontist who appreciates your business is always going to give you their best work, as opposed to somebody who works for a company. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, it's just how things work, right? Are you going to get better dentistry at a giant DSO or with a one-on-one dentist? You're probably going to get better dentistry with a one-on-one dentist. Same thing with consulting. Okay, so different topic. Moving on from treatment plans, learning to do it ideally. If you learn to treatment plan ideally, and if you learn to really get compliance down in your practice, and that's the one differentiator, one of the many differentiators, that an orthodontist gets compliance. We are just freaking good at compliance. We're just good at it. We know when people are BSing us. We can just tell, and we call them on it. You know, like no, pretty much no one can pull one over on eyes. If they lie, we know, and we're not gonna flat out say they lie. So we hear it all the time. People lie like crazy. It's hilarious. So and I can tell when people are telling the truth. There's a lot of, I'm very good at reading people. So anyways, learning to be good at compliance, coming up with compliance systems that work for your practice, whether they're in person or virtual. You have to have a compliance system. Everyone in your office should understand compliance. All your patients should be hauling all their old aligners, at least in between appointments, to their appointments. They should be willing to backtrack. There should be almost no reason for refinements unless there's dental work, or unless this is a pediatric patient and new teeth are coming in, then of course, right? But in an adult patient, refinements should be the exception, not the rule. They shouldn't be happening on every patient or most patients. If so, you're doing something wrong. It either means your compliance protocol is wrong or not efficient, or it means that you're not treatment planning right, or both. Um, don't rely on your staff to do compliance. It has to be the doctor. And, you know, you can't let these patients get so off track. If they get so off track, it's not just a waste of time for a few months, it's sometimes a waste of time for a year because it can make things worse. So get the compliance going. And then lastly is having like an awesome aftercare program. You have to have aftercare down. You have to understand aftercare. You have to have too many general and pediatric dentists, they drop the ball on the aftercare, on the retention, and things relapse, and patients get really upset. It's like number one reason patients get upset besides a million refinements or not having efficient appointments. So if you hit all those issues, you will have these like the aligners and the ortho will sell itself. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to pay for marketing. People are walking around like a billboard for you, and they will send other people. I mean, that's just what happens. So I think just too many people are just focused on cutting corners, getting things done fast, and don't not wanting to really learn. And I mean, the other thing is you can outsource it. I mean, you know, your associate can do it, someone else can do it, but really the owner doctor should be the one doing it because the owner doctor is the one that really cares. But anyways, hopefully that helps, and hopefully fewer people are gonna quit doing aligners. I hear it all the time, and it makes me kind of sad. So, all right, thanks.